Tamasi no Irova Nani Iro Dasuka. Hello, I'm TheZOMBIEJ. It's time for another list video. This time, there's only 5 of them. Well, there's a multiple. I don't fucking know. So, this is a top 5 favorite Bionicle books. Not counting chapter books. I actually like all the chapter books equally. Even those little, the 4 young readers, thin as fuck books. Those were pretty alright. You know, the illustrations were cool. So, this is kind of a weird one because, you know, I actually kind of I love all the books. You know, the chapter books, I love them all equally, except for the G2 ones. They were kind of the encyclopedia, the updated encyclopedia, the graphic novels, those were great. But on here, we have 5 of all the other books that I actually like more than the chapter books for some reason, even though most of the story is actually in the chapter books. Whatever. So, I'm going to present my list to you, but while I'm doing so, or after the video's over, you post your list in the comment section below. Don't include chapter books. Well, okay, include whatever. Top 5, here we go. Number 5 is Matanui's Guide to Biomagna. It gives you new information on this new world that we've never been in before. And it was in 2009, Matanui so it takes the perspective of Matanui, the legend reborn. He has found himself on this new world, and of course he's giving you this feel for Biomagna, telling you all about it, all the people he meets, all the you know, everything, all the tribes, all the locations, whatnot, and it's definitely an interesting read. So, there's another book that came out the same year that I like actually a lot more than this one, but hey, whatever. But Matanui's Guide to Biomagna is pretty fucking solid. I enjoy it. It's a guide that's definitely worth investing a lot of time in. Number 4 is Metronui's City of Legends. This is basically a tour guide type of thing. You know, giving you information on the Metrus and the Toa Metru, the Matoran, the Taraga. Well, there was only Taraga Duma, but hey. And all this other fun stuff, you know, the archivists, the archives in general, the chutes, you know, the Great Foundry or whatever the hell, the Forge. There's all sorts of fun, interesting stuff that kind of puts you in the world of Metru Nui. You know, 20 years ago we got this book, and it was definitely some kind of interesting, you know, it puts you in some kind of this new world you've never heard of before, until 2004 when we were introduced to the Metru Nui saga, part 1 basically. Part 2 is year 2005. And, yeah, so this book definitely was pretty cool, actually. I liked it, and everything was definitely worth spending some time reading, and feast your eyes on its glory. Now, number 3, there's it's a twofold, and really this should be a threefold. I don't know why I didn't put this book on this list. Hang on a sec. There we go. That's a threefold. So first we'll talk about Dark Hunters. This is a book that basically it chronicles the Dark Hunters, you know, and it gives you every single fucking Dark Hunter that LEGO was able to give us, as well as Dark Hunters that were created by fans at the time of G1's existence, ever since we've heard of the Dark Hunters. Back in 2004, that's when the whole Dark Hunter thing first started. because Kreka and Nadiki. And so, you know, ever since then, you know, we've gotten all these different kind of Dark Hunters that were built. You know, Ancient was definitely a popular one, I'd say. He looked pretty cool, I guess. I think Charger was one. It was basically a Kane Ra that was mutated, and he didn't know what it was doing. That one was pretty cool. They used modified Tahunuva swords as like wrist blades or something. Kind of unique. Yeah, there's definitely some unique characters in this book, and I really do enjoy reading it from time to time. World is basically... it talks about the Matoran universe, okay? And this book was released in, what, 2006, I think? I don't remember. But basically it talks about, obviously, Matanui, Metrunui, Voyanui, Daxia, Zia, all these different islands and whatnot. Artaka, Karzani. And it talks about the people there, too, on said islands. I think it talks about Trencrom as well. Cardanui. Actually, I don't think Cardanui is mentioned in here, in the World book. I don't remember, honestly. It's been a while. But World is definitely a nice, you know, kind of book that you could read, and, you know, if you're ever lost, you can just, you know, just keep flipping through it, and, you know, it basically gives you information on all these different lands, on all these different islands, and all these different planes of existence. It's fun. It's great. I like it. And Rahi Beasts. The final part of this threefold of awesomeness. So Rahi Beasts, like with Dark Hunters, basically gives us information and pics of all these different Rahi Beasts, you know, from the 2001 Rahi, you know, combination models, mocks that were created by fans, you know, submitted for the book. And, you know, this was a book that was released in 2005, I think, maybe at the end of 2005, I don't remember. But even Kitongu is in here, and yes, he's a Rahi. That idea is actually kind of weird, but hey, whatever. It's cool. Rahi Beasts does give you a lot of information that you probably heard already, at least at the time. And obviously you get new information based on Rahi you've never heard of before. Obviously, you know, there's the Infernavica, there's weird little tiny Rahi like that. You know, Silver Shoot Spider was one that was kind of cool. Looked like a big old fucking silver tarantula with blades as its, like Liwa Nuva blades as its, well, the second half of its entire legs. There was some weird fucking Rahi in there in this book, and in general, Rahi are weird, but they definitely populate the world of the Matoran universe. Spiny Stone Ape was an interesting, massive creation that was done by someone. There was a lot of great stuff in this book. I enjoy it. Number 2 is the official guide to Bionicle. Released, I guess, at the ass end of 2003. It is basically gives you all the information you really, honestly need. For getting into Bionicle G1, at least for the first 3 years. You're on your own for the rest, unless you go to Metro New City 11 Legends and whatnot. But this book, I've read it countless times. I still have my old copy that's kind of beat up a little bit and damaged, but hey, I still have it. Fuck you. Not getting a new one. So, hell, the book's been long out of print, so it doesn't really matter. So, sorry about that. Damn dogs. But the official guide to Bionicle is definitely probably one of my favorite Bionicle books of all time. Well, I got many favorites here, but this is only at number 2. But it's one that I've read heavily, honestly. It's definitely the most ingrained in my memory, and I love it, honestly. Definitely gives you information that you've probably, well, you probably knew already, obviously, but information that you've also may not have heard. Sometimes you'll encounter a print error. I mean, with the activity book from the same year, I think was some errors as well, but yeah. So the official guide to Bionicle definitely is a great guide. Like if you're starting in 2004 and you didn't get into Bionicle in 2001, 2, or 3, and you want to get back into those first 3 years, the golden years, I'd say, get a copy of the official guide to Bionicle and read it, and it'll give you all the information you need at that point. Now, with number 1, this might be a controversial one for some of y'all, but hey. Makuta's Guide to the Universe. The second book that, well, it was kind of released alongside Matanui's Guide to Bara Magna. This was a great book. I got the book sometime in late 2010, and I read it, and it's awesome. It's great. It takes the perspective from Makuta. Obviously it's written by Greg Farshtey, but Makuta, basically, at the end of the day, it gives you information that you've probably already heard. But compared to Matanui's Guide to Bara Magna, that gives you a lot of new info on this place you've never heard of before. But for some reason, Makuta's Guide to the Universe definitely has a different allure to me than Matanui's Guide to Bara Magna. That's why it's at number 1, and Matanui's Guide to Bara Magna is at number 5. So I like both books equally at the end of the day, but one is just lesser than the other. But Makuta's Guide to the Universe is definitely an interesting read. You get to hear Makuta's, you get to read Makuta's thoughts, basically in these journals. And the same is done for Matanui's Guide to Bara Magna. You get to read Matanui's thoughts in journals. And it's definitely fun. You get to read the story and descriptions and whatnot in both books, actually. So you could kind of compare the two books side by side, but really, which one do you really want to read the most? For me, it's Makuta's Guide to the Universe, and Matanui's Guide to Bara Magna. People probably like that a lot more. Well, I mean, to each their own, so it is what it is. But Makuta's Guide to the Universe is definitely my favorite Bionicle book. Not ignoring the chapter books temporarily. Now, I could have added the encyclopedias, both of them, to this list, and well, that definitely is a couple of books that are worth investing your time in. I mean, one of them has like a bonus like story of some sort revolving around Nidhiki, I think. Birth of a Dark Hunter, I think is what it was called. But that just gives you a description. It's an encyclopedia. It's exactly what it is, an encyclopedia. It's not supposed to be exciting, but hey, it does have some nice little caveats, like that story at the end of the book for the first book. The first book also has a little chart of the Matoran language, the little alphabet cipher. The updated encyclopedia doesn't have that much else. In fact, it has more stuff going from 2006 and 2007, adding all those 2 years worth of stuff into the book, so it's thicker and probably drives up the cost a couple bucks. But still pretty good. But they're not the best books in Bionicle G1. Now, obviously, the graphic novels don't fall on this list either because, those are compilations of comics. But they're still pretty awesome. I like them. And, well, let's face it, the G2 books and graphic novels and activity book are inferior to the G1, books and whatnot. The activity book for G1 was definitely entertaining, and you could enter at a contest, I think. Or was that for the official guide to Bionicle? Yeah, I think so. I tried entering the contest, but I never, cut out the slip and send it in the mail. I never did that, but hey, whatever. So the G2 activity book is definitely inferior. It's not that fun. I figured out all of the puzzles and whatnot without even looking at the back of the book, or without even actually pen and papering, putting the pen to the paper. I didn't have to, because honestly I feel like the activity book was kind of weak. It came with exclusive mask, but that was a mask we already got with Kulta versus Ikimu, or whatever that set's called. Still an awesome set, but the activity book is weak. The little protector mask was just kind of nice to have two of them. Okay, whatever. Fuck you. But, the G2 chapter books were okay. Ryder Windham is definitely a great author. These books were fairly, for the most part, entertaining, but they were kind of weak, Same goes for the graphic novels, that kind of like with the first few Bionicle comics here and there. Well, in general, I think, there was definitely some print errors. Kind of a nod, I guess, to that, but it is what it is. And again, the chapter books are for G1. I love them all equally. They're great. Still have all my old copies of the G1 books, even The Legend Reborn. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, I got that book in recent couple years. Still haven't read it, actually, but I know what's gonna happen because I've watched the movie several hundred fucking times, and it's basically the same as the book, although I'm sure there's definitely some differences, kind of like with, the novelizations for the first three movies. It's all gonna be, similar, but still slightly different endings or whatever, I don't know, but... Well, that is my top 5 Bionicle books. What is your top 5 list? Post in the comment section below. Add whatever throughout the entire catalog of Bionicle books. If you say the G2 books, including the books, the graphic novels, and the activity book, are your favorites, I don't know what to say, honestly. That's astounding. I liked the G2 stuff. Thought it was okay. It was definitely a fun, interesting read, but it was still weak compared to the G1 chapter books. So, and other stuff. So, stay tuned for more videos. I got one more for you today, and then I'll be back tomorrow for more Bionicle awesomeness. So, stay tuned for more videos. I am TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks. Have a good fucking day, and peace.